Hey, good Friday morning, folks. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. We got quite a bit to go over, so let's get right on into it. You probably see a lot of thunderstorms in the forecast today. I think it's going to be pretty sparse on the thunderstorm activity today now that we see what's going on. And then, of course, I'm still targeting tomorrow, Saturday, for a pretty solid line of thunderstorms, possibly strong to severe, moving across Michigan. So let's get on into it and show you what's going on. So on the radar, we do have an area of showers, pretty large area, basically about the southwest quarter of the state. So that's what we would track to be heading on into our area. I'm over on the east side of the state. We'd be tracking to move from western Michigan into eastern lower Michigan over the next couple of hours. All right, so here is a satellite picture, and what I'd like to show this to you is that you see a couple of bright splotches of clouds, the Dakotas, and then Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois. So there are weather systems, so to speak, heading our way that can produce rainfall, thunderstorms. We even have two areas outlined for severe weather. We'll look at that here too. So this is your radar forecast. And note that this model kind of kills by 10 and 11 and noon, kills off that area of showers moving across southern Michigan. So I think you could have a light shower in Ann Arbor and Jackson and Lansing and Detroit, Flint, but be falling apart probably by noontime. And then as we get into the evening hours, 5, 6, 7, this model's still pretty quiet, scattered thunderstorms. Note the larger thunderstorm patch off to the west, and this is the middle of the night. This is midnight tonight. I do feel like overnight we'll see a decent, maybe little downpour period for a couple of hours from Charlevoix and Petoskey to Gaylord to the Traverse City area, Cadillac, Muskegon. Shifting northward, staying dry in the south, and then remember the cold front has always been slated to be coming through on Saturday. We've been slating this to come through on Saturday for, 5 to 7 days now, and this is Saturday evening, 7 o'clock. So you might be surprised at how little time period has rainfall on Saturday, so I wouldn't cancel plans. I'd kind of play it by ear in the morning and see if things look widespread. Let's see, Bob Wells. We are hosting a party from 12 to 3 Saturday afternoon in Groton. Boy, I'm gonna tell you right now. I gotta find where Groton is. I've never heard that word. Okay, so it's in Kent County. It looks like Groton Township. Okay, and bear in mind, remember, I'm from the east side of the state, and occasionally reside up toward the north, so I don't know these. So noon to 3 p.m. tomorrow, Groton. Well, this is a good model. Noon, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you probably got some issues as you get toward the end of it, so don't delay. Here is the next model that we look at in this case. This is today. This is what this does for this afternoon. And you know what? It's pretty plausible that the showers this morning, Diane, will leave an area for thunderstorms to develop. Race tonight in Birch Run looks pretty decent, I would say. Now, we go into Saturday morning, and this is early, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So remember, it looks like an overnight rain is one of the sureties in this eastern UP northern lower. We can always use it across northern lower Michigan with all the sand, especially in the middle of the night. Now, this is Saturday afternoon. This is 3, 4, and 5, and there you can see the cold front becoming active. That's what I expect. You know, sometimes, not to get off on a tangent here, but sometimes we look at the models, but sometimes we just got to look at what is going on in the weather. We got a cold front coming through in the afternoon and evening on Saturday with temperatures near 90, high humidity. That usually produces a solid line of thunderstorms this time of the year, and it usually can have some severe weather with it. Storm Prediction Center has a couple of time periods outlined, like I said. Try and get it so you can see it here. This is the MLive Morning Weather Update with me, meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. So, today is what you're looking at here. Today to 8 a.m. on Saturday, but it would be mostly for today. The chance of severe weather really is Grand Rapids, Lansing, south and west. 2% chance of a tornado, that's what you see in the upper right, and then a 15% chance of a damaging wind gust. And then tomorrow, with the cold front moving through and becoming most active on the east side of the state, and like I had talked about yesterday, I figured they would probably move us up to a 15% chance of a damaging wind, and they did. That's what the yellow means. So Alpena, down to West Branch, I guess, down to Lansing, east side of the state. All right, so let's jump to the European, which is real good at looking at the general pattern like we talked about. So it does finally have an area of showers in our region in eastern and southeast lower Michigan this afternoon. But look what it does for the cold front tomorrow. So here's morning into early afternoon, and then early afternoon into evening. And that right there says that the cold front is becoming more active with thunderstorms. Overnight Saturday night, and let's see, it keeps us dry on Sunday, and it looks like the case now. And then the next rain would come in, it looks like sometime in the second half of next week. So the rains are definitely slowing down. Now, folks are starting to complain about the humidity. I get that. So, the cold front is going to drop the humidity. I'll show that to you on the dew point. Remember, if the dew points are in the 70s, it's very sticky to us here in Michigan. We're used to that, or we're not used to that, so that's why it feels sticky. When the dew points fall into the 60s, about normal humidity. When the dew points fall into 50s at this time of the year and lower, then it feels much drier. So what we're going to look at here is actually the dew point forecast. Dew point is a temperature at which air would be totally saturated. Carmelita wants to know if they're going to be outside having lunch or going to the arcade. I'd say you're going to be outside today. So here is the dew point forecast. And tomorrow, dew points will be in the low 70s. It'll be very muggy. That feeds the storms too. Remember, all of these things are coming in to the story of the possibility of a line with severe thunderstorms. Now, this is Sunday morning, still muggy. Sunday, 2 p.m., drying out in Traverse City, in Cadillac, in Manistee, in Frankfort, in northern lower Michigan. Grand Rapids starting to feel a little bit drier air. And then we go to Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Drier air continues to move in. Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo's dew points down to 62. That's not really low, but it's a lot less than it was. Then we go to Monday, dew points in the low 60s. and it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday before the dew points start to go back up and it starts to feel humid. You're getting a lot here. You're getting a lot in the weather update. We got some people still with us here. So let's look at the long term. The long term, meaning the next couple of weeks, meaning about the last 2 weeks of July, looks like it's trending toward slightly cooler than normal. Normal highs would be, 81 north to 83, 84 south. By slightly cooler, what I mean is that you'll probably, in the 10-day period ending July, will probably have more highs in the 70s than we will have highs in the 80s if this cooler trend verifies. Everything is kind of showing it, but just to a different degree. Here's one thing I want to show to you. This is a very important thing for when you're looking to forecast. What are you getting that extended temperature from on an app? You have no idea. I think we should put up there, we are using this or this, so you'd know if it's the right thing. We're going to look at the European deterministic. European deterministic can be flaky, can be right on. Right now it brings a really chilly upper level low pressure system down into the northern U.S. About a week out. Then we'll look at the same model in its ensemble mode, 51 tweaks of it, and it shows a northwesterly flow, slightly cooler, but not a big closed off upper low pressure center. So remember, in any one of these bends is a storm system. So that's our storm system right there for tomorrow, and something like that has the signs definitely of severe weather. It actually looks, quite severe, but things are not really showing it to be extreme or anything like that. Now we're into Monday and we're into Tuesday, and we've all along we've said somewhere around Tuesday or Wednesday there's another disturbance, and Friday, and then watch what it tries to do. And this is out there a ways. This is 10 days out. It swings down a low pressure center and rotates it around, and something like that on July 23rd would actually be quite chilly. It'd be cloudy, it'd be showery, it'd be highs, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. So again, this could be flaky. So let's look at the same model, same level in its tweak of ensemble mode, 51 tweaks. So there's our disturbance. We know that's going to happen. That's in the short term. Now we're looking to see if an upper low is going to develop and drop down in. So we're at July 17th, and we run it out to when the Europeans deterministic was showing that, July 23rd, and it shows a mild northwesterly flow, shows it, what you could imagine. We'd have some days in the 70s behind cold fronts, but it doesn't show that closed off upper low. Temperatures today, will be, if you got the sunshine, you're going to be very warm, well into the 80s. If you have some clouds midday, you'll be only in the 70s. Tomorrow, hot in Ann Arbor and Detroit and the whole thumb, high humidity. The western side in the 70s, low 80s because of the clouds and the showers. Here's Sunday. Sunday's a good day. And then here's Monday, and we're right back into the 80s as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. One last thing for you. The Climate Prediction Center starting to latch on to the cooler conditions too, in that it's saying 6 to 10 day out to July 20th, cooler than normal. 8 to 14 day out to July 24th, slightly cooler than normal. So, we'll watch for severe weather today, but I think it'd be very isolated, and I'm not really feeling it. We'll definitely keep an eye on severe weather for tomorrow. Any plans, you need to watch the radar. I would say the eastern half of the state in the afternoon and evening will have numerous strong to severe thunderstorms. And then Sunday looks like a great day. So have yourselves a great weekend. You might see me. You might hear from me this weekend. I hope not, but it's certainly possible. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. This has been the MLive Morning Weather Update. Bye.